Suddenly, the first song on the album. I stand on the edge of sadness.
Yeah.
And you were standing on the edge? Did you fall over the cliff into the or?
No, I don't think so. But, you know, it's like, even after you've got over something, like you can still feel like it wouldn't take much for you to get back to that place.
Yeah.
And it's like you can, you know, live your life free from it, but it's always, that memory is always kind of quite close by, and it feels like the space between where you are now and where you were doesn't feel like there's much of a strong wall between them, and that's something that you live with. I don't think it's, when you kind of say it on its own, it sounds worse than what it is in the song.
Maybe once you felt the closeness to, well, sadness or maybe insanity or something, then you know when to get back to it again?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
And sadness means, is it, I mean, deep depression, or is it just, well, sadness as in feeling a day a bit sad?
It's however you want to interpret it.
But what was it for you?
It doesn't matter what it was for me. It's however you want to interpret it.
Okay. Well, you said you didn't want to talk about it, but for me, the songs deal with, well, with the breakup. Is it true?
It's. I think it's important that it stays kind of relatively elusive, and if that's what it sounds like to you, then that's what it is, and for someone else it might be something else. And I have my own kind of personal feelings about it, but I don't particularly want to. I don't think anyone needs to really know.
Why not?
What it was. Because I think it's I think an element of interpretation and space for that to happen for the listener is important.
You mean, yeah, so the listener can always fill in their own stories in the music. Yeah, but sometimes it's also good to know what the other person exactly went through, so you can really relate, mirror to it.
Yeah. You're pushing. It was, you know, like, there was this, like, you know, change that happened in my life. Also, someone in my family passed away during the time that I made the record. So there was lots of things happening that made me feel unstable in terms of, like, my life, and I think that's reflected in some of the songs.
Is there a certain song about someone who passed away, or?
It's kind of the idea of how fragile life is and how quick it could just, things can change. I think it's present on a few songs. You could interpret piece by piece in that way, in terms of, like, it's about a memory and how you can never hold on to a memory of someone. Even if you keep reliving that memory, eventually the memory will disintegrate no matter what you do, and that is a positive and a negative, because if it's a bad memory, it's good to feel that you will eventually get over something. But it's also really sad if you want to hold on to someone and you know that you can't. So it's kind of like, it's kind of a weird thing that but either way it's going to happen. And so in a way you just have to surrender to that.
Maybe it's also present in the song Sing to Me?
Sing to Me is actually, it's about Callas, the opera singer. It's about how much I love how much I love her and how much kind of inspiration she's given me.
What makes her voice for you so unique?
She's just so passionate, and I feel like she was really fearless in the way she sung. It's a real kind of energy and force of nature.
Is something that you want to achieve too, or is it just a different, different field for you?
I definitely feel that she's had an effect on my singing. I mean, obviously I'm not doing opera, but I still feel the fearlessness and how much emphasis she put on every note is important.
Well, you said opera and your stage persona and the song Eliza. Why did you pick the name Eliza? Is it just syllables that fitted well to what you were singing, or?
When I imagine this person, she just looks like an Eliza to me. She just seems to be the name that came to me that felt right.
But sometimes when you have names coming up, they have to do with someone that you know from. Sometimes people say, well, Tim is a really cool name, but that's because they know someone who's a cool guy.
Yeah,
For someone else, Tim is really because they know someone. So you must have known someone.
I don't know anyone called Eliza, but I know someone who I had in mind for Eliza, but I didn't really want to use their name.
Is she famous, or is it just from your childhood?
It's just someone that I know. It's not any famous person.
Are there certain songs that are, you already mentioned One Breath. Are there other songs that are maybe more special, more important for this album?
I don't really like to say, because I feel like I wouldn't want to affect the way someone would listen to them, but obviously they're all important in their own way.
But you also already said that One Breath was.
Yeah, but I feel that's okay, because the album's called One Breath, so obviously I've made a decision to kind of title it that. But other than that, it's sort of like trying to say which of your children is your favourite. Like, you don't really want to kind of like make the other ones feel bad.
Okay, then, if you compare this album to your first album?
Yeah. Which do I prefer? Yeah. Is that what you're saying? I can't really say that. I mean...
No, I was trying to be funny, sorry.
Right.
Last question. The song Love of My Life. What's the story behind that song?
It's just, I guess, like, just a really visceral energy of when you really want someone, and it's not necessarily pretty, it's just a kind of, the desire of that can almost be ugly, and that's how I want it to sound, you know. And it was a kind of interesting thing for me, because it's a lot heavier than stuff I've done before, but it felt really right for that song as a way of expressing that kind of visceral feeling. That's just kind of how I wanted to sound. But it led me to kind of have a lot more distortion on my guitar and stuff, and it was fun. It was a really fun song to record. You know, it was just kind of live, all of us playing, together and stuff.
So why did you decide to focus more on the tension and the energy in the music? Was it something that, you thought after finishing the first album, say, this is a thing I really want to explore music-wise?
Well, it was one element that I felt, because I felt like I wanted the guitar to have more of a kind of visceral sound and to be very strong, and the moments that it came in to be very kind of like pivotal moments in the songs. I guess this is an example where like it's loud and aggressive because the sentiment of the song, that's what it feels like. So it felt right. It wouldn't have felt right to have it really kind of beautiful and So yeah, I just tried to kind of have a wider spectrum of emotion and textures on this record.
Thank you for your time.
No worries.
Thank you.